Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fall 2024 season recap for MCC Esports. I'm one of your hosts, Nate Rodemeyer, also known as Coach Roadblock.
And I'm your co-host, Coach Clannon, also known as Andrew Goforth. I have that backwards. Andrew Goforth, also known as Coach Clannon.
It's all good. You know, it's been a while since we've done this.
I know,
we're rusty.
Yeah. It's actually like the most requested thing that we do, and we never do it. With all the time in the day we have.
Yeah, with all the time. Yep. And now we're deciding, you know what? We're on break. We're technically off contract. Let's do it now before we really take some time off. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're gonna go over kind of each of the games that we played this season. We had a total of 12 different games, about 15 different formats that we competed in. We're gonna have some B-roll footage for some of these. Some of these we're gonna have specific clips to highlight, but we're gonna kind of go in order from kind of our top spots, kind of all the way down on through. So I think the first clip we have queued up for you guys is gonna be from Mario Kart here. So let me go ahead and make sure I've got the right clip queued up for you guys.
So Mario Kart ending for us, MCC taking the top 4 slots in Division 2 in the NJCAAE. So kind of a dominant season there. And coming back to what is an old kind of hometown rivalry. Ryan Erickson versus Roby Widner, both from Nevada. Also shout out to Nevada. That is where I live. And yeah, you know, both these players, they played on the same high school team together for, I think, 3 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, Ryan kind of the, like, time trials guy, the faster of the two. Roby more of, like, the brawler for that team. His job in high school was always trying to, like, protect Ryan. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure which one of them was going to come out and take this.
Neither was I, right? We talked about, you know, the technical skill that Ryan displays, but Roby's right up there with him, and Roby has also honed his green shell sniping skills to razor sharp level, and I thought that would carry him maybe all the way to the end here. And at the end, it was Ryan versus Roby. So those two took their high school record and brought it into the college scene here for their very first semester, you know, finishing, as Andrew said, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Mario Kart Division 2. And so that means that we're going to graduate Ryan and Roby up to Division 1. You know, we wanted to give them a semester to cook, get a feel for the college scene, see if they were feeling themselves on it. And they did incredibly well, as did all of our Mario Kart racers. So a few of them will be moving up to Division 1 next season.
Really excited to see what they can do in D1. Honestly, I think that it's going to still be very, very good. I have faith. I have confidence.
I do too. And with that, let's keep things rolling here. We got a lot to cover. Next, we're going to be talking about the Overwatch team.
All right. So, you know, it's kind of like feels bad / like seems super egotistical to say that a back-to-back championship winning team is underdogs. But they were, right? Like, honestly.
I swear
they were. Yeah, you know, MSUWP, shout out, they got way, way better, right? Between last year and this year, their team is just fundamentally so much better. The Montgomery County Mustangs, who we play all the time, also, I think a better team now than they used to be. Definitely at that sort of low to mid Grandmaster level, which across the board is considerably higher than us. And, you know, the thing about Overwatch is, like, in the regular season, those two teams that I just listed off, they beat us. And they didn't just beat us, they beat us by quite a large margin. And, you know, it's kind of funny, right? Because I was super stressed that day going into that championship. And one of our guys, Tanner, one of our team managers, he's like, they're going to do it, man. And I'm like, these teams just killed us. And they did, right? You know, they came out and they did the thing. And I had 2 statistical breakdowns of the game. I had a winning scenario for us, and I had a losing scenario for us. And the winning scenario almost played out exactly the way that it was supposed to. And it honestly played out based on this one play that we're about to show you. So I knew that if we were going to beat Montgomery, we had to win Lijiang Tower. It's kind of a coin flip map between the two schools. The reason we have to win it is we statistically have a good record against them in the later stages of the best of 5. And so, well, but you have to get to the later stages, right? So our best shot of getting to the later maps, which are Push and Flashpoint, and we have a 100% win rate against them on Flashpoint, is to win the first map, because then you're guaranteed to at least go to map 4. Well, we win the first map, And we won the second map too, which was actually surprising to me because that was about a 30% chance I think I had calculated. We've actually never beaten this team on Escort, which is kind of frustrating. And so, like, if we're down 0-2 going into Escort, it's pretty rough. But yeah, the winning scenario, the only thing that really didn't play out the way I thought is I thought we were going to lose map 2 and win map 4. We won map 2, lost map 4. Yeah, not to get too technical about it. I mean, I'm so proud of this team. It's one of my favorite groups on campus to work with. I mean, they are just legitimately a wonderful group of young men to the person. And yeah, it's so exciting to have them. 3 of the members get 3 in a row. The other 2 get their first championship.
Definitely. I remember the word of the day that Andrew came and wrote on the board was intensity. And it's kind of his pep talk before the game was pretty short, but pretty poignant. And it was, you need to play with intensity the entire time today because that intensity is how we win this championship. You have to play at their level, you have to play at their speed, and you have to make them play our game. And the gold team message received. They did it the entire time.
They did, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like gamers, they want to talk about like rank and how much rank matters. And yeah, this Mustangs team, they outrank us by quite a bit, but at a certain point, rank just means fast, right? It just means that you're faster. And look, I'll be honest, asking a group for 2 hours to play above the speed that they are comfortable with playing is a big ask. And I knew it was a big ask, but they did it.
Yep. As we transition away from Overwatch, speaking of that same level of intensity, just want to give a quick shout out to Overwatch Blue. Overwatch Blue did not progress as nearly in their Division 3 tournament, but they ended up playing the defending Division 3 champions DuPage. And you want to talk about a on-paper skill difference between those two teams? It was enormous. It was an ocean. And the blue team knew that going in. They knew they were going to be in for the fight of their lives. And they did lose the set, but they stuck pace with them the entire time.
They did.
And they were playing at the level of a Masters GM team when on paper they're what, plat?
Plat at best. They're kind of like even out to be low plat. This DuPage team, they're easily could be a contender in Division 1 in our league. They are a GM level team. And so it's pretty crazy that blue team was able to hang with them. But again, they just played with a very large amount of intensity. They took a lot of fights off DuPage. They did not take a map. But even for a plat team to take fights and consistently take fights off of a Grandmaster team is really good.
Definitely. So keeping the train rolling here, the next game we're going to talk about is a brand new championship title for MCC, and that's going to be the Rainbow Six Siege team. Now, those of you guys that have followed MCC Esports for a while, you know that we're very proud of the Siege team. It's one of our flagship titles. It was one of the first ones that we launched with in that spring of 2023 when we first got into the PC side of things. And the team has historically done very well. They finished 4th the first season, and then last year they finished 2nd both times nationally and came up just short of that championship. And so going into this year, things were a little bit different. New team, a lot of new members, some shakeups within the league itself. And so we ended up playing in Division 3 this time, and they had a pretty dominant season performance throughout most of the time here. And so while we kind of recap this, I'm just going to let you see the first round from the championship, which is our own Ben Stringfellow, captain of the Siege team, acing, which means taking every kill in the round against the other team. And that's kind of how we opened that match. And so I think when that happened, we knew we were probably sitting in a pretty good spot.
Look at those
yeah, one thing that I will say is like the Siege team when they came in this time, the last couple times they were very, very, very nervous before their match. And I think that part of it is like they went undefeated in the fall season, and they were the favorites, and going in being the favorites, we had a couple members sick that night. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it was a very rough loss, especially us going in being the favorites. We had beaten Laramie that time in the regular season, and we actually beat them pretty handily. And then in the spring, it was a pretty tragic loss. Like we got people pretty bad. Laramie improved. We played them again, and they improved quite a bit. This time, new group. Ben, the captain this year, I'll be honest, he rolled in his pajamas. And he was just totally chill.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, on championship night, you might, as a coach, not love seeing your player rolling in their pajamas, but I was totally okay with it. because I was like, okay, they're ready for this. And that right there shows it. Ben coming out, getting the ace the first round, all 5 kills for our captain. Yeah, it was a super dominant performance. The Siege team absolutely destroyed Harrisburg. I think that Harrisburg took 1 round out of
14.
15. It would be 15, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Well, but 7-0, 7-1, incredibly dominant performance, and nice to see. And really, congratulations to Coach Cass on his first championship as a title coach. And yeah, super excited to bring it home in Siege. We've been working for it for a while.
Definitely. Moving forward here, we have a new one. We have a team that last spring it was a different duo, right? It was two different students, but it was a team that placed 4th in the country in Division 3 last spring, and that was our Fortnite Zero Build squad. Now, Fortnite is one of the few games that we have that's truly more recreational for us. We really want to have it as an option and an outlet for students. For very few people, is it their main title? For these two guys, it absolutely was. And so Connor and Cameron had a pretty strong regular season performance and then ended up going all the way to the grand finals match for Division 3 here. So I'm just going to kind of let this B-roll footage play in the background as we talk about how their season went. They ended up going all the way to Game 5, which is the last game in the championship. And it honestly came down to one play that we've already talked about and reviewed and said, hey, if we just make this minor adjustment, we've got him next time. And that's just the way that a lot of these games go. And Fortnite is definitely that. The way that Fortnite is played in our league, you drop into a live map with up to 100 other players. And so there's so many factors that you're depending on. Did I land near real people? Did I land near bots? Did I get good items? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's all about your adaptability and being able to come up with a rough plan to work around those elements. And these guys did a fantastic job the entire time. You can see in the top left here, we've got Connor here with 3 kills on the board. Cameron with 16. He was just lighting them up all night. And that carried them through all the way to the end where they got second for us. And so, very proud of this team and excited to see what Fortnite could continue to do moving forward. They really put a lot of intensity into it and were very self-directed in a way that really shows here in the footage.
Cameron, actually a dual enrolled high school student from East Marshall, taking enough credits to be eligible, getting good enough grades, 16 years old. And honestly, I really enjoy working with Cameron. I think that he has a great mindset, especially for his age. It really showed here in the championship. I do think that at the end of the day, nerves did get the better of us. We got up 2-1 in this set. We had kind of an unfortunate 4th match, and then we were way ahead in the 5th match. One mistake, little bit of a mess up, and a little bit faster of a rotate, and I think that we're bringing home a ring. But my thing about it, and what I'm super positive about, is like both first semester freshmen on this team, and Cameron truly, again, 2 years younger than the average age of our players, and just showing a huge level of competitiveness and maturity. And yeah, I'm super proud of this duo. I think that they did great, and I think that they're gonna get one by the time that they're done.
Oh yeah. They were already talking about the second that it was over, like, here's what we need to do, and we're gonna get them next time, and that's what you love to see. So, continuing along, our next game on the list, we're gonna talk about Smash for a little bit. And nobody does Smash justice like Coach Max does, but Coach Max ain't here, so we're gonna talk about it instead. So, we're going to show the footage first for our crew battles, and man, this is another example of history repeating itself again and again.
So a few things about Smash that the listeners out there need to know. Esports be hard. There's a lot of games that are incredibly difficult. In my opinion, Smash is the hardest one. It's the hardest one for a lot of reasons. One, it's the biggest title. Across the 3 divisions of the NJCAA, there's about 800 people that play Smash. That is considerably larger than any of the other game titles. The other thing about it is Smash is a game where it's not super strategy oriented, right? It's very micro skill based, and so all a school needs is one good player, and they can win a championship. I also kind of like a shout out to a Star Wars line. It's also the game where it's there is always a bigger fish. There's always someone out there that's wow, you see this guy or this gal, and they are so good at Smash. And then you see someone else, and they're way better. This is by far the most successful season we have had in Super Smash Brothers. National runners up with a bracket reset kind of just came down to, again, Mott Community College having that one player that was able to give us problems. 4 players in the top 8 though, so incredibly strong finish. And then in crew battles, we have faced Heartland Community College in the championship now 3 times and lost to the same person 3 times.
Yep.
So again, like I said, it's a very difficult game, very skill oriented, and our Smash team, they have done nothing but get better under the leadership of Coach Max. And we're so close.
We're so close.
We're so close.
And one of the things I'll share very briefly, in the 1v1 finals, right? So our player that was second in the nation was Shontario Misery Dudley, and we love Miz. One of the things I love about Miz is no matter what, it's a regular season game, it's a postseason game, it doesn't matter. Every time that he's done, win or lose, he always texts his opponent and says, "Hey, do you want to play some friendly games?" Miz lost the national championship after getting the bracket reset. He wasn't upset. He was actually pretty proud of himself, as we all were. First thing he said, "Hey, you want to play some friendly games?" And to Mott's credit, they said, "I'll do one, but then I really want to go celebrate with my team." He's like, yeah, that's fair. But he did manage to get Mott to play one friendly game after the championship match was over. And I think that just really embodies the spirit that a lot of the Smash players have, and that desire for constant improvement. Miz will be the first person to tell you that he enjoys losing, as strange as that sounds, because it always teaches him something new. And that's why he always asks to play these games with other people. And so, again, really, really dominant performance from the Super Smash Brothers team in both crews and singles. Very proud of Max and the whole team and how they've been doing there. So let's keep things moving along. The next game on the docket,
Madden. Yeah, so Micah Geringer getting top 4 in the region in Madden, making the Division 1 national tournament. So regional model in place for Division 1. Micah had a good season. Honestly, top 4 in Division 1 is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. Division 1, the highest level of competition in the league. And so, the other thing too about Micah that I just want to say is like the citizenship that Micah Geringer brings to this program is unprecedented. He does work in our athletics department, and he does tons of work for us in esports. And really, if you are a 4-year coach out there and happen to be catching this, you really want Micah Geringer on your team.
You bet. Whether it's shoutcasting literally any game and doing a phenomenal job, even if his game knowledge is zero, because he brings the entertainment and the hype because he's been growing up with sports his whole life. Whether it's corralling the gym crew on Tuesday and Thursday mornings and makes people get out of bed to go. He brings the whole deal to the program in a way that few students do. And he got the regional runner-up, which is just incredible. And then, getting to that national tournament, he, alongside a couple other players this semester, are the first time we've ever had anybody compete in Division 1 outside of Amber's second year. And to play at that level with that intensity for that long is truly an accomplishment. So congratulations to Micah and the Madden team and Coach Max once again for their performance. All right, next up, another first-time game for us, Call of Duty.
Yeah, so Eduardo Garza, Lalo, for the past 2 years has been asking me if he could play Call of Duty, and for 2 years I have told him no. So, there's a reason for that. Honestly, Nate and I, Call of Duty, not really like a strong suit for us in terms of expertise. Call of Duty in general can be kind of hard to corral. And then, we already run a lot of game titles, but Lalo had a hangover semester. Basically what that means is he needed like 6 to 9 credits or something like that to finish out his degree. And I was finally just like, okay, dude, we'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. You can play Call of Duty. He's been so great for us the whole time. He's played on multiple teams, filled in for Rainbow Six after we lost a player, kind of has served as a sub for a long time. Call of Duty is his main game. And basically, like, it turns out that our Overwatch captain is also really good at Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Season didn't really start out the best. We had really tough games to start the season, and then they kind of went on a roll, right? Like,
yep.
They reeled off like 5 wins in a row and got them into regional championship, got them into the national qualifier, and then just couldn't quite do it from there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a really good experience, and shout out to Ryan Golding, our Overwatch captain, who did that. And then other thing that I will say about Lalo is legitimately the strongest mindset of any player I've ever coached. Like Lalo, Lalo will be a phenomenal coach one day because he's almost like unshakable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always knows that it's just a game. For those of you guys that know Lalo, he's got the physique to match that kind of tough mindset. He looks like a bouncer.
Yeah.
When we kind of joke that he's the bouncer of the MCC Esports arena, but everybody loves Lalo. Again, really proud of this team for kind of putting this title at the forefront and really showing what MCC can do with Call of Duty. We kind of pledged not to really get involved with Call of Duty because of our expertise and because the wider community can be known for not being the best, but these guys absolutely embody the MCC culture that we strive for. And so we weren't worried about them coming forth and playing Call of Duty for the school. As Andrew said, after they kind of got adjusted to Gunfight, which is a different format than what they were used to playing, they really rattled off win after win after win, getting, I believe it was 4th in the region, and then placing top 8 overall. Actually, it was top 4 again. I think it was top 4 for regionals and top 4 for nationals, and that's incredible. And so Ryan, who will be with us again next semester, he's done informal tryouts for next semester's Call of Duty squad. They're looking at playing maybe 4s instead of Gunfight or doing both or things like that. And, I don't know that it'll be a title that we go and actively recruit for, but who knows? If you're a Call of Duty player, we will absolutely find a home for you. And as long as we have players that want to support it and will be good citizens to push that title forward, you bet we'll play some Call of Duty.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting there. Let's see what's next. League of Legends is next.
My team, yay! So League of Legends is the team that I directly oversee. Got kind of put on hiatus for a little bit last year. Honestly, one thing that I'm proud of is that this was a team of players that, outside of a couple of them, don't have a lot of competitive experience. And League of Legends is a very deep game. It's very difficult. There's a lot to learn. And the other thing about it is if you think that you learn it in solo queue, it is completely different in an organized setting. By the end of the season, teams started making really good strides toward that coordinated competitive style. Ended up getting knocked in the first round of the playoffs, but you know what? That's okay.
Yep, it is. The level of organization they built over that semester, they went from, we talked about it a lot privately. They basically had to unlearn years of playing the game.
They really did. Yeah.
And, League of Legends has been around since 2009. I don't know if any of them were playing in 2009. Tanner was playing super early on. But, yeah, just the habits that you learn playing alone, you have to kind of unlearn. And so they spent a lot of time identifying different team compositions and learning how to counterplay against opponents and playing around objectives and doing things that take a lot of time to actually internalize and make a habit, especially when you come from so many years of experience just playing the game casually. And so we're really proud of the league team for getting as far as they did and for being able to hang there with one of the other toughest games in esports, which is Riot's League of Legends.
Also, a huge shout out to the whole league team. Violet, Torche, really one of the most enjoyable players on the team to coach for me. I mean, really sought out a lot of individual coaching. And then I have to give credit where credit's due. Behaviorally, Jeff Putnam really grew up over the course of a year. And, I would not have staked my name to this a year ago, but, really has become part of the MCC culture that he fought. he fought against it for a while, but he's doing way better.
Absolutely, yeah. And things are something shout out with Violet. Violet was a walk-on for us, continuing the history or the legacy at MCC of having some really strong walk-ons show up mid-season. Violet this year, Ben last year, half the team the first year. You know what I mean?
Amber the first year.
So we've just had a long history of students that show up kind of the day of classes or the day of tryouts and say, hey, I want to throw my hat in the ring, and they do a phenomenal job, and that continues.
And you could have knocked me over with a feather when it was someone who played League of Legends.
Absolutely, I remember that day. All right, we're almost done here. Next game here is going to be Rocket League.
The Rocket League team improved a ton. Like honestly, they had a really strong regular season. Their playoff bracket was looking really good. Unfortunately, I think a team dropped out or something of the playoff bracket, and then they got put against the number 1 seeded team. Montgomery County again. I can't turn around without playing against the Montgomery County Mustangs from North Philadelphia. But the Rocket League team had an amazing regular season. It's unfortunate that they're kind of like at the end of the video because the Montgomery Mustangs in Rocket League as good or better than they are in everything else they play, and kind of a dominant first round of the playoffs for the other team. But regular season, really good. Shout out to Jacob Jansen. Jacob, he had a hangover semester 2, one of the original members of the MCC Esports team. Started out playing Rainbow Six Siege for us, and by the end of his career was just a wonderful citizen for us and did great things for the Rocket League team.
Yeah, it was really great to see the Rocket League team grow this season. They had direct coaching support with Julian Thomas, Gator Melon out of St. Ambrose. He has been working as a Rocket League coach for us this semester, and under Julian's leadership, they've just grown immensely. Very good at leading this team and kind of directing them on the mechanical things they need to work on, as well as just being a chill dude that's like a great coach to learn from, right?
He is the chill dude meme.
He is the chill dude meme. So shout outs to the whole team there. And yeah, I should have pulled it up. I think regular season they went undefeated.
Yeah, I think
they had
so
an
too.
incredibly strong
They're
regular
6 or
season.
7 now.
Yeah,
which again was so sad that they just kind of they got the bad playoff draw early on.
Yep, not a lot you can do about that though, but we're excited to kind of see where Rocket League continues as MCC progresses. So with that said, I think we have one more game to talk about in our recap, at least in terms of video footage that we have.
Yeah, this is definitely like last, but certainly not least. So Valorant. Valorant team had a really strong regular season. They went 5-2. The Valorant team is completely comprised of first semester freshmen. I mean, Valorant is a new title for us. We wanted to do it justice because the Iowa High School Esports Association added it, so we hired a Valorant coach. Love working with Coach Jake out of Canada. He is one of my favorite people to work with in the entirety of the esports program. Brilliant Valorant coach. And a really brilliant group of Valorant players that we have. Nate spoke this into existence. It's on the record, by the way. So Nate was like, every time in Overwatch, we lose to Montgomery County in the regular season, and then we beat them in the playoffs of the championship. And Nate was like, wouldn't it be funny if the opposite happened in Valorant? And it did. So Valorant, we pretty handily, actually, I wouldn't say pretty handily. It went to like a 6 round overtime against Montgomery County in the regular season. Then we ended up losing to them in the playoffs. The one thing about the Valorant team that I want to say is this is the best group of first semester freshmen that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. They're just great kids. Like, these guys are some of the best Valorant players you'll ever see. Normally, a player of the skill level, especially the guy you're spectating right now, Dylan Myrodi, this guy has to be one of the top mechanical Valorant players in the nation, in our league. I mean, he's just incredible. Normally that comes with ego or it comes with attitude. Dylan will sit down and play Valorant with me, and I am terrible at the game. Or like, if you were new to Valorant, he would sit down and play Valorant with you just because he loves to play the game. And that is very unique. It's very, very
And it's also characteristic of that entire team, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't come with any judgment or frustration or, man, I wish I was playing with my high-rank buddies. It's, I love this game. I want you to love this game. Let's play some games together.
Yeah.
And not only that, these students, they really put some overtime into their game, but at the same time, they all did a phenomenal job of attending their classes, holding each other accountable as first semester freshmen. Like, they're really all that we could ask for in an organized esports team in college, right? They did the thing. Yeah. And I attribute that a lot to the character of the Valorant team, to the guidance of Jakey as their coach, and just kind of the organization and culture that we kind of help bring and that they embody, right? And so that's kind of the last clip that we have. As we kind of wind things down here, I wanted to shout out a couple more things. First of all, we may have said it, but I'm just going to say it again in case we didn't. And the Overwatch clips, we got to give shout outs to Sauce, right?
Oh yeah, look. All right, yeah. So I was talking about my like statistical winning breakdown stuff. We have the best Overwatch coach, Sam Geller, Sauce, out of Canada. Okay, so meta's change in video games. Meta being the characters that are good. Sauce figured out the meta 3 weeks before it happened, and then made the team hide the strategy that they were practicing the new meta that he guessed. He didn't really guess, but he literally calculated what the new best characters were going to be. They were a month in practicing that comp before any other team even touched it, and it was a one comp meta. Like, basically, everyone was playing the same thing. Sauce just figured it out first.
And that's amazing because he could have gambled and been wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I mean, he's got the data and he's got the experience to back it up. But what you predict happening and what actually comes out in the patch notes can be two completely different things. This also means that while the students were practicing it before the patch came out, those characters sucked.
Yeah, they were
like that composition he was building for a future that he knew was coming or anticipated coming. But in the moment when they were going through that, they took their lumps because the characters they were playing and the things they were trying to do at the time they were initially practicing them were bad.
Yeah,
but they stuck it out, and it really carried them through the championship. So shout outs to Sauce. We shouted out Coach Max. We shouted out Coach Cass. We talked about Julian. We talked about Jakey. I think we covered all of our coaches, right?
We did.
We did.
Yep.
So while we kind of wind things down, let's go ahead and celebrate for one moment the academic success that our students bring with them as well. And so we're not going to go over this full infographic. If you guys are interested in seeing it, I've shared it on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. This page, though, really just kind of gives that one single breakdown of kind of the academic piece.
Yeah, I mean, the most important takeaway here is that our league did a study on basically the number of all academic players. It's our equivalent of academic All-Americans, and we have the most in the NJCAA right now. So ranked number one academically, and that's really awesome because at the end of the day, it is about winning games, but it's also about what they do when they leave here, and a lot of them are going to do great things when they leave. So
yeah, Andrew and I are professors as well as coaches, and so we really take to heart making sure that they're academically ready for the next step, whether that's graduation, whether that's transfer, whatever it is. And the 17 names that you see on the right, as well as plenty of other students who maybe didn't quite make the dean's list, but they showed up to their classes, they did their work, they did the right things, as we like to call it, deserve to be celebrated for that as well. And for MCC to not only compete at the highest levels in our league across the board and be able to do this at the same time, that's not common. That doesn't happen everywhere. And so we really have something special here at MCC, and that goes to a lot of the credit of the hardworking students that make that happen. So again, as you look on the screen here, you can see we had 65 unique student athletes this semester across 52 different rosters. That's counting all the 1v1 rosters for Smash and Mario Kart and all that jazz. 12 different video games, 6 national runner-up titles, 3 national championships. We almost doubled the number of national championships the MCC's earned in a single season. We had 2, and we got 3 more. No, wait, we had 3.
4 and got 3 more.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I can't do math. Okay.
Nate doesn't even know, man. He doesn't even know.
Wait,
all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, that is the break mindset coming in, and to break we will go. We are going to sign off and see you guys late January. We're going to get going again, but it has always been a pleasure. And yeah, signing off, Coach Clannon with Marshalltown Community College Esports.
And Coach Rodemeyer, also Marshalltown Community College Esports.